Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Brief. 76 people and counting have now been diagnosed with the coronavirus in Israel. One of them is a 9-year-old boy who was in Madrid, and another is apparently a Ben Gurion airport worker who was admitted to ILTV hospital with flu-like symptoms before eventually being tested for the virus. Now, according to current protocols, testing for coronavirus is only carried out on those who have traveled abroad or knowingly have been in contact with someone carrying the virus, so it's currently unknown how he contracted the disease. On Monday, Israel decided to take drastic measures to curb the spread of the coronavirus, and it's now required that all those who arrive to Israel from abroad go into 2 weeks of home quarantine. The Israeli Health Ministry is now banning all events with more than 2,000 people as well, and is urging the public to avoid visits to vulnerable nursing homes and hospitals. Thousands of new respirators are also being stored in emergency warehouses out of concern that the healthcare system could collapse with the onset of more and more patients. The IDF has now called up about 200 reservists to assist the Magen David Adom ambulance services and the IDF Homefront Command. IDF soldiers are no longer allowed to leave Israel in order to prevent the spread of the novel coronavirus, and the military is readying itself in case it will need to take part in instituting national measures against the disease with the Israeli government. Prime Minister Netanyahu's requests to postpone the election results have been rejected, and the Central Elections Committee chairman is now handing over the official final results over to President Reuven Rivlin. So with that, the time to negotiate a government has finally begun again, but given the results of this third consecutive election, many are already updating their next campaign strategies. Prime Minister Netanyahu is catching heavy criticisms right now for already planning for fourth elections. After all, President Rivlin hasn't even met with party leaders for recommendations following third elections. But Netanyahu may be onto something, because the numbers don't lie and they're looking really bleak. With a right-wing bloc that is very unlikely to grow beyond its current 58 seats, all eyes have been on the opposition, and Blue and White Party Chairman Benny Gantz has been hard at work trying to gather enough supporters for a minority government, or a coalition consisting of his own party, the Labor Gesher Meretz party, and Avigdor Lieberman's Israel Beitenu party, with outside support from the Arab Joint List. But while this unpopular plan really seems like the only way to avert fourth elections at this time, it's not sitting well with several key members of the left. Blue and White MKs Yoaz Hendel and Tzvi Hauser have officially come out against the plan, and now so has Labor Gesher Meretz chair MK Orly Levy Abkassis. She calls the idea a broken promise to voters and a shameful violation of basic norms and values. The majority Arab Joint List party is the third largest faction, commanding 15 Knesset seats, but many members, past and present, have been embroiled in controversy involving support for Palestinian terrorism and other anti-Israel positions. Still, President Rivlin reminds us that the language used against the Arab majority parties is not appropriate for modern democracy, and that in Israel, all votes count the same. So are we doomed to fourth elections, though? Well, the time for the 23rd Knesset isn't up just yet, and one other option also remains on the table if party leaders are willing to consider it. President Rivlin's previously suggested rotational unity government made up of the Likud and the Blue and White parties.
חשבתי אז שלא הייתה דרך אחרת, וכנראה שגם היום לא השתנה המצב בהרבה.
The Jewish holiday of Purim has just come to an end, but not before Israel could bring some cheer to kids hospitalized at the ILTV hospital in Tel Aviv. Last night, Israeli volunteers dressed up as superheroes to hand out Purim baskets to little patients in the coolest way ever. Take a look.
בזכות החברים פה שהתנדבו, כל אחד אנחנו לא איזשהו חברה או משהו כזה, סתם התנדבות של כמה חברים טובים, קולגות למקצוע. משקל לשקל, משקית לשקית, אספנו.
זו השנה הרביעית שאנחנו עושים את ההתנדבות הזאת. זה לבוא לראות ילד בלי הרבה מצב רוח ששוכב בבית חולים בפורים, ובשנייה הפרצוף שלו משתנה, כאילו כל הבאסה שלו הופכת לחיוך הכי גדול בעולם. הוא מתרגש גם אם זה לכמה דקות, זה שווה את הכל.
ההתנדבות הזאת זה סוג של מתנה, כי הם פה בבית חולים והם באיזושהי באסה, כי הם גם חולים והם גם לא מתחפשים. אנחנו באים לעשות להם שמח, לראות אותם חייכים, זה הדבר הכי כיף שיש.
Well, they said it, but what's so amazing about this initiative is that the volunteers are just a bunch of friends who've been doing this for the last 4 years out of the goodness of their hearts. That's all for now, but for more news from Israel, remember to like ILTV on Facebook and on Instagram, and to subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.